Good morning, Lagos. Good morning, Nigeria. Welcome to The Conversation. It's the Friday edition, of course, the last edition for the week. I am Abimbola Bello.
Bele Abimbola, this is your voice. It's obvious that you have a cold. So sorry. Bele.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. It's the TGIF edition of The Conversation. It's nice to be back here. I am Adibimpe Omotayo.
Yeah, thank God it's Friday. I am Joy Olu. Welcome to The Conversation.
Okay, I said I will try as much as possible not to talk too much today because number one, my voice is somehow I'm sniffing. I mean, my head is in many places at the same time. But is it possible to be on this set and not talk?
Is it possible to be on The Conversation and not converse?
Gaga. Okay. Well, you know how it is. Nigeria is still happening to many of us in different places. Different things still happening. But in as much as, you know, all of those things are there, you know how we do it on Fridays. We just decide to forget all of the troubles and just, you know, set ourselves, get ourselves ready for the weekend. But of course, let's take the news points for the day before we delve into today's conversations. Adebimpe, let's start with you.
Yes, interesting story I have here. Atiku announces coalition against Tinubu. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar yesterday at a meeting of key opposition leaders said they have formed a coalition aimed at unseating President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2027. Atiku made the declaration during a press conference in Abuja attended by several opposition politicians, including former APC members who have since defected. The event was convened to address President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's declaration of a state of emergency in Rivers State over the political crisis there. Among those present at the event were the 2023 Labour Party's presidential candidate, Peter Obi, who was represented by Dr. Yunusa Tanko, former secretary to the government of the Federation, Babajir David Lawal, former governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, a former gubernatorial hopeful in Ogun State, Segun Showunmi, former Director General of Progressive Governors Forum, Dr. Saliu Lukman, Alhaji Adamu Maina Waziri, Chief Peter Ame, and Sonny Mondafe, among others. A long list. When asked whether the emerging coalition would serve as the main opposition against the APC in 2027 elections, Atiku said, and I quote, "Yes, this is the birth of the coalition of opposition ahead of 2027. Even though some stakeholders have reservations, Atiku's statement signaled a significant political realignment with opposition forces preparing to challenge the dominance of the APC. Observers are asking how leaders with differing ideologies, ambitions, and party affiliations can work together to fulfill their promise to Nigerians. A prominent member of the 8th Senate who was part of the coalition that ousted former President Goodluck Jonathan in 2015 said that the recent realignment in the political space might not work. I think I'll stop here. We now have the main gist that former aspiring.
He's still aspiring.
Okay. Former strong members of some parties have come together to form a coalition to oust President Tinubu out of office. Is that the
2027?
Is that the issue now? Is that the issue? Is that the issue at hand now? Is that our problem? They'll spend so much time, you know, plotting and planning, and even if they get there, nothing to show. Anyway, that's the story. Atiku has announced that they are planning and plotting to remove Tinubu, President Tinubu, come 2027.
Well, so, in their mind,
we are watching.
In their mind, it will take a coalition to defeat President Tinubu during the next election. But I do know that it's also going to be pretty difficult for these men to also come
together and agree.
Yes, to find an
common
agreement.
Ground. Yes,
because everybody wants to be president. Nobody wants to be vice. And so there's just that interest, personal interest, that will come out to play. and at the end of the day may just bust the bubble of this coalition. But however it is, plan in progress, they're working. Let's see where this coalition will take them to, and let's see how united they'll also be at the end of the day. So never say never when it comes to politics and to issues like this, because again, you never know why politicians
You said it in the beginning now, that about politics is about
you don't have to be friends, but
yes.
you have
personal interest. Personal interest. Everybody's looking for what will pay them, and at the end of the day. So let's see how this will work out at the end of the day. Our next story this morning: Rivers Sole Administrator Ibas assumes duty, vows to restore law and order. The sole administrator for Rivers State, Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas, retired, has arrived in the state to resume duties. Ibas arrived at the Port Harcourt International Airport at about 11:25 a.m. on Thursday and was received by top officials and security personnel. The sole administrator, accompanied by the State Commissioner of Police, Olugbenga Adepoju, and the Assistant AIG Zone 16, immediately proceeded to the Government House in Port Harcourt afterwards. Ibas already arrived at the Government House and was conducted around by some government officials. Of course, the thrust of the story here is that he has promised, to restore order to that state and ensure that everybody that is not willing to work with the administration is also put into check, and that was part of the Riot Act that he read out after attending a closed-door meeting with very selected individuals yesterday in Port Harcourt. But for a lot of people, from the feedback I saw in a couple of places yesterday, for some reason the state capital, Port Harcourt, is very calm. The fears of violence has not, at least everybody is just at the moment trying to watch and see what's happening. I understand a lot of people also decided to be indoors, for whatever reasons best known to them. But again, I'm sure that aside one or two people that have also promised or that have threatened that they will not take this hook, line and sinker, will be the fact that I think everybody is just also watching and waiting to see what will happen. For me at this moment will be that peace that we've been asking for since. I think it is now very paramount that whether you like it or not, that peace, you will toe that path at the end of the day, because when you're also dealing with military men in court, it is obey the last order. But I'm sure that a lot of people will also just want to shift their swords and say how this can be resolved amicably, especially going by what the National Assembly said yesterday, that as much as they passed Mr. President's emergency rule, 6 months should not be cast in stone. So, should be open to negotiation. So if the retired naval man is able to get things done and able to also find the warring factions to come together and, work together in peace and unity, perhaps it might be sooner than the 6 months that Mr. President has suspended them. I think we almost also continue to understand that Fubara was only suspended.
He wasn't impeached.
He wasn't impeached. He wasn't sacked totally.
Yes.
So it is just 6 months of putting that state in order, ensuring that there is governance, except if we just want to lie about it. This last 2 years, it has just been topsy-turvy. Even the man himself has not been able to sit to do anything quite meaningful, because again, case here, Supreme Court tomorrow, appeal courts, I beg, what is it? So let's hope that now all of them would see the bigger picture and see that it is about Rivers State and not about one person. I just hope that this would bring that peace that that state is actually yearning for.
Earlier you mentioned that River State is relatively calm. You know, yesterday we read that about 10,000 troops have been deployed.
Stationed. So you do anyhow, you see anyhow.
So I think that should be one of the reasons why there's
everybody is maintaining.
Everybody's behaving. So we must admit that a lot has been saddled on the shoulders of the sole administrator now. We hope that he will be able to perform and restore
He has no choice.
He has no choice but to perform. Joy, let's take your story.
Sanwo-Olu swears in 8 new permanent secretaries. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has sworn in 8 new permanent secretaries, reinforcing leadership across key government agencies and ministries. The ceremony took place yesterday at the Lagos House in Ikeja. The newly appointed permanent secretaries include Dr. Mrs. Idowu Abiola Adeolu for the Health Facilities Monitoring and Accreditation Agency, HEFEMA, Mrs. Olarinwaju Adenrishola Olubanke for the Citizens Mediation Bureau, and Mr. Bajulaye Adetokunbo Olarinwaju for the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture. Others are Mr. Mahmoud Tajuddin Alao for the Ministry of Finance, Mr. Agbabiaka Wasiu Bolan. Ababiaka. I think you should even give me thumbs up for trying.
You're trying, though. You're doing very well.
I'm doing very well. Mr. Agbabiaka Wasiu Bolanle for the Civil Service Commission, and architect Oki Bolahon Owoduni for urban development. Also, Mrs. Onigbanjo Reynat Ajibike was sworn in as permanent secretary for the Ministry of Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, while Mr. Olayinka Adebayo Wasiu assumed the role at the Ministry of Wealth Creation and Employment. Governor Sanwo-Olu charged the new appointees with the responsibility of driving excellence in governance and ensuring the efficient delivery of public services. Quoting him now, he says, "Your appointments come with high expectations. Lagosians demand the best, and you must justify this trust through dedication and innovation." The governor emphasized the importance of integrity, professionalism, and commitment to the Themes Plus agenda, the administration's strategic development blueprint. Here are the new appointed permanent secretaries. Congratulations to them, and we do hope that they do well with their new appointments.
Right, and of course, like the head of service said at that event yesterday, this now brings to about 111 the number of permanent secretaries that Lagos State has had. The facts here is that, just continue to, there's reward in service. Even though, yes, the post of a permanent secretary, once you're on level 17, level 16, you deserve it. But again, sometimes hard work pays you. Hard work will make, could also speed things, for you. So we wish the new permanent secretaries well, and we do hope that, of course, they will bring their wealth of experience to bear in the state public service. So those are the stories we're tracking for you at this moment. Let's quickly go to the X platform to take a look at one of the many trending stories there. Of course, news broke yesterday that the suspended governor of Rivers State, Governor Sim, he's still governor, on suspension, Sim Fubara, has relocated to Bayelsa State, and at the moment he and his family are currently being accommodated by Governor Diri of Bayelsa State. And
like he's on exile.
Well, he's on exile in another government house. So, and Bayelsa is not too far from Rivers, and they share so many things in common. And I think the fact that he's not too far from the state.
Is it because of security reasons?
Well, it could be. It could be.
Safety reasons.
And the fact that, maybe he also felt that he needed to maybe find a safe haven out of River State for himself and his family. Of course, at this time, he also needs to be very careful. he also needs to be watchful of the places he also visits and things like that. So I think his family will be grateful to the governor Bayelsa for extending this warm handshake of brotherhood to him and his
now
family.
that he has been suspended, does that also mean that all his security detail has been taken away?
Well, I mean,
not an impeachment. It hasn't been removed.
Well, maybe reduced.
Reduced, okay.
Maybe reduced.
Maybe
He
reduced.
might not have the full capacity of the entourage. So of course now that's so I think that's how it works. Those security officers are usually attached to the government house.
Yeah.
So now that there's somebody else in the government house, he also might take the full security, but he won't be left just like that. He would still have security complement, but maybe not the full entourage of what he should be enjoying if he was the sitting governor. But it's only for 6 months or less, depending on how fast they're able to resolve the issue.
I think they should help him or make him and the other 27 lawmakers. No, they're more than 27 now. 30.
27? Okay, if you count those that were loyal to
all of them.
30.
About 30 lawmakers. I think this should be a moment of reflection for them. Yes, because they should look at where they were just about a week ago and where they are now. And this should be a time for them to now start to think, why are we here?
How did we get here?
How did we get here? Is it about us? Or is it about the state? Or is it about the people together? So I think I don't want to say Tinubu did a good thing because they come and cut off my neck. But I think now
they should be able to close ranks.
Yes.
They should be able to close ranks.
They should be able to, yes.
And I also think that, maybe him being in Bayelsa would also give a neutral meeting place. If, there were meetings to be held, consultations, at least if you're meeting outside of Rivers, maybe to also give some kind of fresh air or some breathing space for everybody to, say the truth and just find a way to make this go away so that, every sense of decency can take place again. But he will wear the shoes, knows where it pinches. So I'm sure at their own different corners of their rooms, they are also they should be speaking the truth to themselves. If truly there are consciences and if truly it's about the people. But if it's not about the people, then maybe nobody's conscience will be pricked. All right, that's it on the news segment of the program today. We will take a quick break. When we return, this morning we would again be looking at a particular skill, and of course usually they are the lives of a party or the lives of every social gathering that you find them. They are called DJs. So this skill, I know that we've talked about this at a time on this program. Of course, today we'll be with another DJ. And so the skill of DJing, do you pick it up? Do you learn it just like every other skill, or how does it really work? That conversation is after the short break.